I thought about you today, Sue. The Attorney General is filing a lawsuit against a company that had some cameras that they sold to some, and they were from China.
Oh,
I saw that.
Yeah.
Too, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because you know,
Hello, everybody.
yeah, we had cameras and we upgraded our camera system. We told you about
Hi
it.
there, Yvette.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm driving. I had a very late bus. So if it takes a minute for me to respond, that would be why.
okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
I want to make sure.
All righty. Well, I got a good turnout.
You're live.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to call this meeting to order of the Public School Retirement System of the City of St. Louis Board of Trustees meeting June the 15th, 2026. The time is 4:32 p.m. And we'll start off with the roll call.
Christina Bennett. Candace Carter Oliver.
Present.
Louis Cross.
Present.
Kelly Dobell.
Present.
Hello, Kelly.
Mary Donaldson.
Present.
Mary just got back from a cruise.
William Heisey. I'm sorry, did he say?
No, is he on?
Yeah, it's there. William Heisey. Bill, can you hear
Bill,
us?
can you hear us?
Okay, we'll come back to
Okay, come back.
Emily Hubbard. Shanice Johnson.
Present.
Yvette Levy.
Present.
Jennifer Orr. Albert Sanders.
Present.
Andrew Vian.
Present.
There's Bill.
Doris Walker.
Present.
William Heisey.
Present.
Very good. So we do have 10. We do have 10.
Okay, we have a quorum. Before we get started, I wanted to alert the trustees that we have a new member appointed by the St. Louis Public School Board, Kelly Sobel. And Kelly, welcome aboard. And if you all, then let's give her a little hand because she just came on.
Thank you.
All right. And welcome, Kelly. And we look forward to many, many years with you on the board.
Thank you. Me too. I look forward to it as well.
All right. Okay.
Wait a minute, Louis.
Yes.
We supposed to have a moment of silence for all our retirees.
That's what I was just getting ready to say, Doris. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Hey, we own it. We own it.
Okay, we want to have I think Trustee Doris Walker made mention of the fact that we should have a moment of silence for all of the former members of the system, of the retirement system that have passed away. So at this time, we'll have a moment of silence. And if you could bow your heads, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, first order of business, approval of the minutes of the last meeting, tab 1, Board of Trustees, regular meeting, April the 20th, 2026. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the Board of Trustees on April 20th, 2026.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Questions, comments, or concerns? Last time, questions, comments, or concerns? Okay, all in favor? By the sign of aye. Are your hand up?
Aye.
Aye.
The potential risk for botulism, which is an illness caused.
Okay. All opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, that passes. The seating of a new member, Kelly Dobell, appointed by St. Louis Public Schools Board of Education. So is there anything that we do? We just all right, well, we just welcome Kelly, and again, welcome Kelly to the trustee board.
Thank you.
Okay, reading of communications to the Board of Trustees. Sue, we have any?
Anything?
A presentation by interested parties, we have any? Okay. Consent agenda approval of retirements and benefits for May and June of 2026. Is there a motion to approve?
Vian motions to approve retirements and benefits for May and June of 2026.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions, comments, or concern about this particular item? Questions, comments, or concerns? Last time, questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor by the sign of aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Huh? Okay, the ayes have it. Okay, then, let's see. Approval of refunds and bills, April and May 2026. Is there a motion to approve?
Vian motions to approve refund distributions paid for April and May 2026 and bills paid April and May 2026.
All right, is there a second? Is there
Second.
I mean, I second
Okay.
that emotion.
all right. Questions, comments, or concerns? Questions, comments, or concerns? Last time, questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor by the sign of aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, any abstentions? Okay, so it passes. Let's see, unfinished business, Sue? None? Report of the chairperson? I'm really pleased with the attendance that we have at our meetings by the trustees. I know everyone has a very busy schedule. And we're not fortunate enough to go on a cruise like Trustee Donaldson just got back up from, but maybe one day I can. Is that right, Mary? But seriously though, thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy day to give us time with these matters that pertain to the employees of the St. Louis Public Schools. And I really want to let you all know I appreciate it. Everything seems to be going along full steam ahead. Of course, we have some RFPs coming up, and in fact, we have an election coming up very soon for the retiree in June, right?
Not this year.
Not this year?
Next year.
It's next
is
year,
a retiree
27?
election.
Okay, I stand corrected. But all in all, the committees are working well. We're getting things out in a timely fashion. And that's basically my report. And thank you all so much. Moving forward, a report of the executive director.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairperson. Just a few items to make mention of. In the packet, I did include a new contact sheet that is probably hasn't been sent out to the trustees in a little bit. So it has all the trustees' contact information as well as vendors that we work with pretty closely included in there as well. So just wanted to make mention that that is in the board packet for everybody's reference. Also, it is conference season, getting close to conference season. We've got some conferences happening next month and then later on in the year as well. So included in the packet is a summary page. We have talked about doing this. And so this is a summary of the just basically everything about the system. So that's in your packet. It's 2-page, so front and back, basically 1 page front and back. But it has just a little bit about the system. A lot of times when we go to conferences, they wanna know what are we invested in? So this has our breakdown, a little bit about the membership down here, and these are, should be the new numbers. And then, contributions to the plan, how that all works. And then on the back side, we have, all the trustees listed, the staff, and then, just a little bit, we do have our presence out in LinkedIn and on Facebook. So, feel free if you have any questions about this, or if you wanna make any changes to it. I mean, we can certainly tweak it, but, this would be a good tool, for those going to conferences, which we have quite a few, just to bring along, so that way if somebody asks a question, you have that at your fingertips. So any questions, comments about that?
Can you go to the back page again?
What percentage are we funded at currently?
We're
70?
gonna have
Oh,
Mike
so,
tell us that.
okay, Mark's
Yeah,
gonna
so
tell
we'll
us
look
that.
at-
Okay. I'll defer that to Mike.
I'm sorry, Dr. Sanders, did you?
Can you turn to the back just for a second? To the second page, yeah.
Is that the second page?
Yep.
That's the second page.
I know, she just put it up. That is perfectly fine. I was just looking at the board of trustees. We'll talk about it later.
Okay. Okay. So I wanted to mention that. So we have that. And then, this is the month too that we do, take a look at some of our business insurance. I wanted to briefly go over that, to talk about the two that are up for renewal. And that, apologies, but I just sent that out this morning, waiting, we work with Gallagher, another arm of Gallagher, to do the, renewals on our business insurance. So that's gonna include, the property coverage, workers' comp, and then we have crime and fiduciary. And then cyber liability, is more at the beginning of the year. So we changed these a few years ago to, try to get everything renewed at the same time. So we're pretty close, but not perfect. So we had to had an extension last year for the crime and the fiduciary. So those will not renew until August. And so we'll discuss those at the August meeting. So this time around, we have our property basically covers our building, personal property inside the building. And then we also have workers' comp coverage for staff and other issues that come up. So we have renewal that is about 8% for both the property and the workers' comp. Gallagher felt that was a pretty fair renewal. Property is always kind of iffy because things go on nationally. Then when they rate, we all share in those, wildfires, hurricanes, tornado damage, which obviously we experienced that here not that long ago. So, but Gallagher felt like it was a pretty fair renewal. So the coverage for the property insurance there is listed on that first line. We have Hartford as the carrier for property. Currently, we have about 3 million, I'm sorry, there's a zero missing, so it is 3 million, over 3 million for the building itself, and then the property is personal property inside the building is a little less than 1 million. The coverage that we'll be renewing, these always bump up, just like your homeowner's insurance, you always see those limits change. So the new coverage is gonna be 3.7 million for the building itself and the land. And then the property inside the building is a little more than 1 million. The premium is gonna go to 25,238 annually, up from 23,407. So about $1,800 difference. And then the workers' comp insurance, that one is going to go up right about 8% as well, from 1240 to 1333 a year, and no changes in coverage there. And then the other thing we do, it's included in the budget, but we do need to look at that too, is the broker fee that we pay for Gallagher's work. And that is 15,000, staying the same. It's been 15,000 for many, many years. And Dr. Oliver, you had a question?
Yes, just wanted to clarify, these are annual renewals, and then when you, with the Hartford, will that will that be 3.3 million to 3.7? I know that you said that there's a zero missing. So what should that read under current?
Yeah, so
coverage?
there should be 300 at the end, so 3,335,300.
Okay,
So
and
that's
then
the zero it's missing.
I see, and then renewing to up to 3.7
Yeah,
for, okay.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, and these are annual
annual renewals,
premiums, annual renewals, so.
okay,
So these are from July 20th to 25, or 26th to July 20th of 2027.
understood, thank you.
Does our tenant, do they have any do they pay for their own insurance, or any of their fees go into this?
Yeah, other, the whole building, but their space and things in their space, they have their own coverage for that.
Okay.
So, but the overall building everything is covered in the building, but just not the stuff inside their space. That would be on their insurance.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments on that?
Nope, that's in line with what I've seen at our school organization, so it seems very reasonable.
All right, so I guess if there isn't anything else, there is a recommendation down there. Or a motion.
Did everybody see that motion at the bottom?
Yes, I do have a question,
Sure.
and we love Gallagher. Don't get me wrong. Can you explain a couple things what Gallagher actually does? I mean, for me, I know most. I don't know most of it, but just a little detail what Gallagher does to see why we're paying them that.
Sure. So this fee here that's listed is for them, for the business insurance side of it. We actually have 3 relationships with Gallagher, including the actuary who is with us tonight. And then we have our insurance that we provide for our retirees. Gallagher assists us with that insurance and for the staff, but it's really a little bit, but it's mostly for the retiree medical, dental, vision, and the voluntary benefits. So this business insurance, so these policies that are listed here, along with the cyber liability, this fee that's listed there is going to cover their work of those things. So they go out, get those preliminary renewals, and talk about it. If they don't feel it's reasonable, then they're going to go out in the market and they're going to get quotes and bids. And that's what happened last year. So last year with our fiduciary coverage, we had Travelers for many years. Travelers decided they did not want to renew with us, basically kind of getting out of that business. And so we had to go out and get additional proposals. And so that is what they do to help us with that. And if we had claims or issues, I think they would assist with that. We just haven't had this.
Thank you.
Any
I make
other
a motion to
questions?
accept the renewal of property and workers' compensation coverages with Hartford as recommended by Gallagher, and to approve the 2026 broker fee. If we were ready. I'm sorry. I don't know if I jumped the gun on that. Go ahead, Christine. I'm sorry. I'm done this time. I promise.
Did you make the motion or did you need a second?
I made the motion.
We need a second.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded. Are there any questions or comments? Questions or comments or concerns? Last time, questions, comments, or concerns? Okay, we'll take a roll call vote on that motion that passed.
Christina Bennett,
Yes.
Disclosure Day, we're on the top spot in acres with.
Hold on a second. Somebody needs to mute. Okay, go ahead.
Candace Carter Oliver,
Yes.
Louis Cross.
Yes.
Kelly Dobell,
Yes.
Mary Donaldson,
Yes.
William Heisey,
Yes.
Shanice Johnson,
Yes.
Yvette Levy,
Yes.
Jennifer Orr,
Yes.
Albert Sanders,
Yes.
Andrew Vian,
Yes.
Doris Walker.
Yes.
All right, so we do have 12, the motion carries. So thank you all for that.
Okay.
And that concludes my,
Okay, Sue, thank you so much. We'll move on to report of the investment consultant. There's no report? No report. Okay, a report of actuary, 2026 evaluation report. Mike, showtime.
Hi, how are you?
How
Thank
are
you, Chair, board members, for having us. Sue, will you be able to share, or do we want to share our screen?
yeah, you can.
Okay. But my name is, while we're waiting on that, my name is Mike Ribble. I'm an actuary from Gallagher, and my colleagues, Matt Stayback and Blake Wilderman are here as well, also actuaries. So purpose of this presentation is to provide a summary of our 2026 actuarial evaluation results. If you go to the next slide, we'll give a little overview of the process. We're going to talk about the outer blue stuff is all inputs to the valuation that we performed. The valuations as of January 1st, 2026. So we collected member data or census data as of that date. We collected the asset information as of December 31st, 2025, and we'll talk about how we recognize gains and losses on assets over a 5-year period to help smooth the impact of the markets. On bottom left, we have our actuarial assumptions and methods. We performed an experience study as of the end of 2020, and those are 5-year experience studies. Those are kind of a review of the prior 5 years to see if our assumptions and methods are reasonable, and we proposed new assumptions. We'll be looking at those after this valuation, and looking at the past 5 years and maybe even longer, since we have a long history with you, to see if the assumptions are in line. So when we are here this time next year, we may be, having new assumptions and methods, some tweaks or some bigger changes. We'll see what happens, but that's all happening in the second half of this year is this experience study we'll talk more about later. On the bottom right is the plan provisions as of January 1st, 2026. So all those are the inputs to the valuation. We'll walk through some of those items. In the middle, the whole purpose is to take all that data and determine what are the contribution requirements for the upcoming year. We have a fixed contribution rate we'll talk about, but also we have an actuarially determined contribution rate, which is what do we recommend would be put in the system if we were free to collect the money that we want. But we have a fixed rate, and we'll talk about that. There was a recent law change that boosted that fixed rate, so we're happy about that. And the second thing we monitor is the funded ratio, or the health of the plan. How do our assets that we have recognized in the system compared to the liabilities? So with that, Matt and Blake are going to I think Blake is next to walk through some of the inputs.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. So anytime we do evaluation, we want to check the data. Data is a key component of every valuation. So the cleaner we can get the data going in, the more accurate our results are coming out. So these next couple slides are just going to be high level reviews of the data. And this first slide is more of where were the people at the beginning of the year and where were they at the end of the year, to see kind of where the changes are in the count. So if we're looking at our actives here, we had an increase in actives of 139 people. You'll see that the charter schools that jumped up a decent amount compared to the school district. That's because we had a new charter school in 2025. So that looks reasonable as far as that goes. So then we go down to the terminated records. These are people who have terminated and are no longer working. However, they are still due a benefit. That ended up increasing by 127 people, where most of those are coming from your non-vested with balance. Those are people who terminated before they met the requirements to get a benefit. However, they are still due a refund of their contributions. And then finally, we have the people who are in pay status. That ended up decreasing by 29 people. So taking all that into consideration, our total counts ended up increasing by 237. So if we go to the next slide, now we have more of a breakdown into those groups. This will give kind of more of average age, average service, balances, average benefit amounts. And we look into this. If anything looks unusual, then we can always take a deeper dive into it. But if you're looking on this slide here, all the counts for the most part, lined up fairly well. Same with all the averages, count balances, and whatnot. I do want to mention that the average covered payroll for your actives was the only kind of outlying thing here. Last year, the average was 64,000, where this year it's 68,000. We do have a salary increase assumption per year that we have as one of our assumptions. However, that kind of jumped a little bit more than what we were expecting. And I think Matt will go into how that applies in our gain and losses for our liabilities later on. But if we go to the next slide, continuing on.
Hold on, we have a question. Andy has a question.
Blake, can you just comment on active members tier 1 versus tier 2, please?
Yeah, so they, I believe it was in 2022, if I'm correct. I'm sorry, 2018. 2018. Yeah, sorry. They changed the benefit multiplier for the benefit during that year. So previously it was 2%. So if you were hired before 2018, you would have got a different benefit essentially than if you were hired after 2018, which would have been the 1.75%. So it's just a multiplier change, and we go ahead and track that.
Yeah, which is tier 1 then? Is that pre 2018 or post?
It's pre.
Tier 1 is pre. Tier 2 is post.
Thank you.
I had a question. The number of members in the system that have not met the requirements to be vested. We've sent out notifications to the people to tell them that they could withdraw the money and so forth. So is it advantageous to just try to get all of those people off, or is it advantageous to keep it like it is now?
That is a debatable question, I think.
Yes, it is.
Well,
The more you have if you have their balances in the system, you can earn a little bit of investment on them, but you're also paying interest on the balances. So, and you have to kind of keep those liquid, because if all those people came calling at once, you need to have enough liquid assets to pay for it. But, I'm not an investment advisor, so I don't think we can comment on whether it's more advantageous from a financial standpoint, and I would lean towards the staff to talk about the administrative impact.
Okay. Thanks.
So I'll log in really quick. So Louis, we've been over this where these employees that are non-vested, we are paying an interest rate on them.
That's
On
right.
their, and we have tried to get these off our books because we don't need their assets, but it restricts us for not being able to invest all our cash the way we can because this is a liability that has to stay liquid. So again, that number's growing, and just trying to see how we can get these people off our books if we have to do multiple mailers. Um,
We do plan to do another campaign. We did a campaign 2024 to this group. And we're gonna do another, we got a campaign summer and fall that we're gonna target those individuals that have been gone a while, that have left their funds here.
Right, and we discussed, I don't know what it's paying right now, but we've always had a higher interest rate than what banks pay right now. And I don't, I'm to the point that, uh, as long as we're meeting the treasury rate, I wouldn't recommend keeping them any higher than that. But I know we dropped it, didn't we, Sue? Or we kept it?
It's 2% is the
Yep.
interest.
2%. We used to be at 6%. So, so we'd love to, try to get this number down.
I think he suggested that we discuss it somewhat, a little more in terms of all the trustees deciding how we want to move forward with this, I guess.
Yeah, well, and we'll try the campaign and
Right.
then maybe at the end of the year, kind of see where we
Right.
are.
Okay.
If we've done, I mean, every year, what I can say is the number of distributions, the refunds that we pay goes up.
Right.
So, we'll see that number in a little bit, but we're kind of keeping up with the current, but it's the people that left a while ago that we need to try and find.
Yes.
Have we had any success from our campaigns?
We had success of getting, how many people have we gotten to?
In 2024, I would say that was the first year we saw a pretty significant bump. So yes, we did have some people from that group coming forward. I don't have the exact number, but it was enough to give us some confidence. What we're going to do this year, that was kind of a one shot. This year we're going to have send out a mailer and then wait and send another one. So we're going to have a little bit more of a follow-up with those individuals.
Okay. Oh, it's just nice to know. I mean, I don't have to have exact numbers. I was just curious if we had any response. So some response is better than none.
Yes.
Hey, Sue, are those people who are still on our mailer that gets our retirement newsletters?
Not the people that are non-vested. The people that are vested, yes, but not the non-vested people.
Okay. Does SLPS send out any? Oh, well, again, if they're not even working at SLPS anymore, never mind.
Yeah, I mean, addresses are kind of they change and people move out of the area. So that's the tough part of finding some people.
And I think what Mike alluded to is that if everybody that was on that list decided to take their money out, what, I mean, would that hurt us or would that be advantageous? And that's.
No, it would, I mean, if they took it out, Louis, it's a big number.
It is.
I mean,
I think it was, how much was that?
7 million?
How much was that, Mike, the total amount that of all the people that are in that category that are not vested but worked in the district?
Doing a little math.
About 22 million.
Thank you.
Right, $22 million.
Yep, good job. Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. Well, Chris, I guess we can just, as Sue has stated, they're doing everything humanly possible
Absolutely.
done. And so we probably gonna have to devise some new strategies or something, but I think they've tried just about everything. And some of the people, we don't even know if they're alive. Am I right, Sue?
Well, I mean, that is a possibility, but we do have the death audit file, and we would include those people in that.
Okay.
So, but included in that is also gonna be some people who may have passed away and didn't have a beneficiary. So we don't have a way of paying, that benefit out.
That's right.
It takes a
can't-
while to get them
Can't
to.
you send it to the state?
Well, that's another question is if we do that process, we are actually writing that check and sending it to the state. So
Correct.
A $22 million check to the
Yeah.
state.
So I mean, if we want to do that, I mean, we certainly could do that. So that's a question that we've talked about before too, what makes the most sense to do. But yes, on some difficult cases, we've had Hush Blackwell help us with some that are kind of a literally, I hate to say dead end, but there is nobody living that would appear to, have claim to that, to some of those funds that we have out there.
Yeah, but if we keep them on our books, we're accruing it at 2%.
Right.
So if you send it to the state, then it's, we stop that liability.
It's done.
And then it becomes up to the beneficiaries or whatever to figure out where, to get it from the state. But, if we've got somebody we're carrying for the last 15, 20 years, then, it's time to send it to the state.
Well,
Yeah.
so we can discuss
I
it.
mean, unclaimed property is 3 years. I have to hold stuff for 3 years. After 3 years, and I've made an effort to attempt to reach out, then I'm allowed to send anything and everything after 3 years from the date of departure or the date of last communication to be sent to the state.
Okay.
Dr. Oliver has her hand.
Dr. Oliver?
Yes, that sort of answers my question. I was curious what other like systems do, and is there a timeline or preferred, method after by which a time frame is consulted that we would make action toward it. I think it's a part of a larger conversation we want to have around, a strategic plan or maybe just some strategic actions, that or decisions we need to make over the next year or so.
Yeah. And I can bring, some of the cases that we've had where it really doesn't appear that there's anybody out there. So I can bring those to the next meeting and we can kind of see what that looks like
Okay.
as far as doing this treatment.
Thank you.
This will be at the top of the list of things going forward. So trustees, you will definitely have a chance to make a decision on what we want to do going forward. And I don't think right now we don't have any time, as Dr. Oliver stated. We currently don't have a window of if after so many years you go to the state or anything.
Well, you do, as Christina said, you do have to keep it for a certain amount of time before it goes to the state.
Right.
But then if we do it before the end of the year, then we don't have to pay interest.
Okay.
So that would be one reason to do it.
Okay. Okay, any other questions? So that'll be on the one of the main topics going forward, trustees. So be ready to roll your sleeves up and come up with something. All right, Mike, you all can finish.
Yep. All right. I'll go ahead and continue here.
I'm sorry, Blake. Okay.
Yep. Continuing on here, we go ahead and we look at the participants in pay as well. We looked at their average age and their average monthly benefit. Again, not much deviation between them, so it looked good on the data end. And then the next slide, we also looked at the medical coverage. Again, this will include medical, dental, and vision. The plan sets aside a expense and contingency reserve that is used to fund this. This slide in particular, the table only includes the medical part. The footnote down at the bottom does show dental and vision year over year, if you're curious about that. But our slide here with the medical, we break it down. If you did not elect medical coverage, if you elected Medicare Advantage plan, we also broke that out into members only versus someone with a spouse or a child that they also want to put on their insurance due to it being different premiums, and then not Medicare Advantage. And again, there's not much deviation between all that. So with that, that's all the data that we had. So I think we're going to pass to Matt to get us started on the assets and liabilities.
All right. Thanks, Blake. One thing to kind of note on the medical coverage, and we'll see it a little bit later when I go through the gain loss, the net not Medicare Advantage, there was a small decrease year over year. So we'll see how that affects the reserve later, but I did want to highlight that one thing. So before we get into the weeds and all the numbers associated with the valuation, I just really wanted to highlight how important it is to make sure we understand the interplay between assets and liabilities for the pension plan. Mike touched base on funding status earlier and employer contributions. That's really the key point of going through the valuation each and every year. In order to get there, you need both assets and liabilities, so each side of the equation. For assets, it's pretty straightforward most of the time. You get your market value as of 12/31. You see the transactions, and it's a lot easier to kind of see how the assets perform over a year on a market value basis. Blake's going to go over how we smooth the gains and losses over a 5-year period. Mike touched a little bit on this, how we smooth it actual versus expected. Then you have your liabilities. Blake just kind of went over the data. We know the average age, the service, the salary. We tie those into our inputs. What Mike mentioned was our assumptions and methods and our plan provisions. And that's how we calculate our liabilities. And the combinations of assets and liabilities, that's how we get our funding status. That's how we get our employer contributions after we have all these inputs and we analyze them. So really, the main point of the valuation is an ultimate goal of the pension plan is to make sure we have enough sources of funding over time. We want to make sure that in combination with your employer contributions, your employee contributions, in your earnings on those assets, that they're going to pay out these promised benefits in the future. So this is a great diagram that I always like to share. The ultimate goal of the plan is that over time we're working towards that 100% funding and paying out these promised benefits. So as Blake and I dive into a little bit more around these assets and liabilities, please do not hesitate if you have any questions. And then Mike's going to take it away with the valuation results at the end. So Blake, back to you so you can go through the actual value of assets.
All right. So getting into assets, we'll go ahead and track your market value of assets. That's the actual value of your assets. But those can be volatile year over year. You can have a huge increase. You could also have a large decrease as well. So what we use is the actuarial value of assets. And this was adopted by the board in the start of 2022. And what that will do is it will smooth it over instead of recognizing all at once. We go ahead and smooth it over a 5-year period. And we also have a corridor to where it can't increase above a certain threshold or decrease below a certain threshold. So what that really does is it smooths it over time, over the 5-year period, and makes it less volatile for you guys, and also makes it so your employer contributions are fairly consistent. So if we go to the next slide, so getting into it, beginning of the year 2025, your market value of assets was at 877 million. We go ahead and include any contributions that were made during that year. We also take out anything that was paid, so any benefits that were paid, any admin expenses that were paid, and then we also look at your investment return that you made on your assets. So at the end of the year, with all those included, we're looking at $946 million. Like I said in the previous slide, we do have that medical expenses, which is that line item H here this expense and contingency reserve. So we go ahead and take that out. That's almost 16 million to pay for those. So you're looking at your market value of assets as of January 1st, 2026 of $930 million, which gives you a rate of return of 13%. We do have an assumption that we expect 7% on your assets. So it was above and beyond that 7%. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and recognize that gain. So anything over that expected amount, we go ahead and recognize that, which will be that 52 million. We also have gains from prior years. 2024 is that 15 million. 2023 is that 26 million. 26 million. We don't recognize that all at once. Again, we smooth that over a 5-year period. So if we go to the next slide here. So this year we're not going to recognize that 52 million. We're only going to recognize a fifth of it. So that's where we get the 10 million. Again, the 2024, you're only going to recognize a fifth of that gain. Same with 2023 and 2022. Our line item N here, that's amounts that still need to be recognized. So if we're going to recognize 10 million of that 52, then over the next 4 years, we're going to recognize 41 million, almost 42 million. And we do that for each year until all 5 years are hit. So once we go ahead and include all those, you're looking at your actuarial value of assets at 902, almost $903 million. Again, we'll look at it, make sure it hits in between our corridor, which it does. So your actuarial value of assets is that 902 million. And then if you're looking at it from last year's actuarial value of assets to this year's, that gives you a rate of return of just above 5%. So next slide, we have the historical rate of return. This will give you kind of what
I'm
is
sorry,
going
can you
on.
back up one slide?
Mm-hmm.
Go back to where you had the 15% and then you went down to the 5 or 13% down to the 5.
Sure.
Yeah. So a large part. So on a market value basis, we were at 13% last year, and that's where we
Okay,
saw a $52 million gain. So we assumed 7%, as Blake said, but we got 13%, and that equated to 52 million. Even though we've seen gains over the past 3 years, this large loss in 2022 really drove down that return on an actual value basis because we are still recognizing that 22 loss. So
got
this
it.
past year, even though we've been seeing gains the past 3 years, we're recognizing $33 million from that 22 loss over
Got it.
time.
I'm
So,
good now.
okay. All right, Blake, go ahead.
So that if we're looking at the past 10 years, if you're looking at the chart here, that green dotted line, that'll be our expected returns. It was at 7.5 until 2022, and then it dropped to 7%. But it's fairly consistent around that 7%. The blue solid line will be your market value of assets, which again, you can see how volatile it can be. And then our orange dotted line will be our actuarial value of assets, which smooths it over the 5-year process. And you can see how less volatile it is. If you're looking at the 10-year averages, our market value of assets, we're sitting just over 7%. And then our actuarial value of assets, we're at the 5.65%. So, and that's it for assets. Matt, you want to take care of liabilities?
Yeah, and before we jump to liabilities, just because we had a question about the difference between 13% and the 5%. The reason we do the smoothing is that if the plan would contribute on an actual determined basis, the plan would have started contributing a significant amount of more. Or if you also look at a funding status standpoint, there would have been a huge dip from 22 to 23 because would have been fully recognizing that. The point of it is, like Blake said, is really kind of to smooth that out and minimize the volatility over time. So just wanted to comment on that before jumping into liabilities. So Blake just covered the assets. Like I said, that's one side of the equation. The other side of the equation is liabilities, and liabilities are calculated based on present value future benefits. Blake covered one of the inputs with the data where we know information as of that date, but we need to come up with assumptions of when someone might retire. What's the probability of them retiring at age 55, 60, or what is the probability of them terminating at a certain age, or what their salary could be like in the future. So we have all these assumptions and we calculate what we call as a present value future benefits of all these different outcomes. Part of that present value future benefits,
we all should be.
We calculate what we call as an actual accrued liability. And that is what it's in the green here. And that's the portion of the present value future benefit
About Brother Samuel.
that's been accrued as of the valuation date. The actual accrued liability will be as of will be used in the funding status, and whenever Mike goes into calculating the actual determined employer contribution, that's the liability that we'll reference is your actual accrued liability. Now, the light blue and the dark blue is what we call future normal cost. Part of the normal cost, which is the small sliver here, the dark blue, that's actually going to go into our employer contribution calculation, and that's essentially what is the cost to the plan of accruing an additional year of service. So just put it on a micro level of say Joe has 20 years of service. What does it cost for him to accrue one more additional year of service to the plan? Now we do that for all the actives, and that's what we call the normal cost. Now, from a plan perspective, like the actual results as of January 1st, 2026, the present value future benefits for the plan was a little over 1.5 billion. Of that 1.5 billion, 1.34 billion of it was your accrued liability. This is what's going to be compared to the asset number that Blake went over to when we calculate the contributions and the funding status. The 29.4 million is what we anticipate is going to cost the plan for additional year of accrual for the upcoming year. And that 29.4 million is going to go into the contribution calculation. So after we calculate our liabilities, after we calculate our assets, we like to take a step back and look at it, what we anticipated to happen if all assumptions were met, and compare what we expected to happen to what actually happened and see the differences between them. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to look at some gain losses from an asset standpoint, liability, and we're also going to look at contributions. Like I said, I've covered this a little bit earlier. We have certain types of assumptions of what we anticipate is going to happen. We'll see deviations year over year, but ultimately we want to make sure we have a good representation of long-term expectations. And Mike mentioned this earlier. We are going to go through an experience study after this valuation. We're going to look at our current assumptions, see what history has done over the past 5 years, or even further. Have conversation with Sue and her team just to see if any of these assumptions need to be modified moving forward, just to limit the volatility of the plan. So we talked about assets already. We saw that even though we had a 13% market return, we had a 5% return just from continuing to recognizing that 22 loss. That equated to $18.8 million loss on an asset standpoint. Unless the plan sees a very favorable asset return in the upcoming year, we'll probably see another loss next year. But luckily, next year is the last year of the 22 loss that we continue to kind of linger around in regards to the plan. Next, we have liability. So we take the liability, we account for the benefit payments, normal costs, and we if all assumptions and methods were met, we would have anticipated $1.32 billion in liability. We ended up seeing 1.34, which equated to about a $20 million loss on the plans. A key driver of that was salaries being higher than expected. Blake highlighted this a little bit earlier when we were looking at data. We saw about a 5.5% salary increase, which was higher than what we anticipate over the past year. So, in the combination with the salary, we also saw lower than expected terminations. And the combination of those two were the main drivers of the liability loss. And then lastly, some smaller outliers. we look at the contributions we expect year over year, or the expense and contingency reserve. We did see contributions, kind of the main driver between these two. We expected contributions with interest to be around 80 million. We got about 74 million. The combination of those two resulted in a loss to the plan of 5.7. So looking at the other losses, the assets and liabilities, the total loss to the plan over the past year based on what we expected was almost $45 million. So I'm going to pause there for any questions. If not, Mike's going to take it away and talk about the valuation results and how the assets and liabilities that we just covered, how it looks as of January 1st.
All right, thank you. On 26, just a couple quick definitions. The unfunded liability is liability minus assets, and that assets is the actuarial value, the smooth asset value. And then funded status, we talk about funded status or funded ratios. If you hear about that, talking about the health of the fund, that is the actuarial value, the smooth assets divided by liabilities. So we're going to go to the next slide. Blake talked about and Matt mentioned the expense and contingency reserve decreased a little bit from 16.2 to 15.8 million. And those are taken out of the assets before we look at the market value and the actuarial value. Market value, 930 million was due to that 13% solid return. And the actuarial value is held lower than the market value by about 28 million at 903 million. We compare that to the system liabilities, the total entry age normal actuarial accrued liability of 1.34 billion to the 903 million, and we get an unfunded accrued liability, actuarial accrued liability, 438 million. It's up by about 415 million. Partly due to the salary losses or salary increases higher than we expected, and partly due to the fact that we're still getting hit by the 2022 return, and we're still recognizing those losses. And that'll happen again, the 2022 loss next year again, and then we'll hopefully have that behind us, pending a stable 2026. Funded ratio on the bottom on an actuarial value is 68.5 last year, down to 67.3, and the market value is actually up from 65 to 69.4. I guess the other good thing about this is we do have up at the top 930 million of market value and only 903 million on actuarial value. So we've kind of turned the corner. We actually have to look forward to bringing in over the next 5 years $27 million of returns that we haven't yet achieved, or we haven't recognized yet. So we have turned a corner from 2022. It's just still holding us down a bit. Next slide. And we talk about how does that translate into contribution requirements. You can give it 30, I think. So we talked about the inputs in green. Matt went over how we calculate the present value of future benefits, and in blue, and then split that into what's been accrued to date, the left blue line, and then what's to be accrued in the future, normal costs. And then we compared that to the actuarial accrued liability on the left to the value of assets, the actuarial value on the left, and the difference between the unfunded liability. That unfunded liability has to be paid for, and the method we use is a 15-year amortization method. It's layered, and we'll briefly touch on that in a minute, but that's one component is we have to pay down our unfunded. So we have like a mortgage payment, basically they have to make towards each year towards the contribution. And the second part of the contribution that we make under the board's funding policy is the normal cost, and that's 1 year of additional service. So those two items make up the contributions. Moving on to this next slide. It's just a quick formula. We take that normal cost and amortization, and we give it interest, so it's kind of in the middle of the year. And then from that, that's called the actuarially determined contribution, and then we subtract out the 9% employee contributions, and the net is what we would say is the actuarially determined employer contribution. Next slide. Well, we don't need to go through all the numbers here, but this is just to show that we have a 15-year layered amortization, meaning that in 2022 we reset it. I kind of describe as we bought the house for $336 million of unfunding. We're paying it down every year over 15 years. We have 11 years remaining, and that's a fixed payment of $34.5 million. And due to the 2022 asset losses, we could say we bought 4 big cars, nice cars. It's not a fun thing to do, but hopefully we'll turn the corner. We've had 4 years of losses there, so each time we have a loss, 20 million, 54, and 50, and 45 million the last 4 years. We have to amortize those amounts over 15 years and pay them off. So total payments on the bottom right now is $51.97 million just to pay down the unfunded liabilities. The only item I want to mention that Blake hit on it was on item B is the covered payroll. It's up from 330.6 million to 358.3 million. So that's good because we get more contributions into the system, but it also increased our liabilities more than expected. So it kind of has an offsetting effect. So part of that's due to having more active employees, and part of it's due to higher payroll, pay increases, and even higher than we would have assumed. On the next slide. So as a result of that higher payroll, our first item, with interest, item I, is the total normal cost paying for that 1 year of additional service with interest increased from 28.3 million to 30.4 million. But as a percentage of the payroll, it's 8.56 versus 8.49. It's not a big jump at all. In fact, it's a slight decrease. So it's an increasing dollar amount, but as a percentage of payroll, it's pretty stable. Item J K is where we add in the amortization with interest. That's a little bit higher as a percentage of payroll due to recognizing those asset losses of 14.83% of payroll it jumped up to 15%. We subtract out the 9% member contributions, and we get at the bottom, we get an actuarially determined employer contribution of 47.6 million. Last year jumped up to 51.9 million. So it's a slight increase from 15.39% payroll to 14.39 to 14.5% on a payroll basis. Next, let's go to slide 36. So the top half of this slide shows the development of our contribution amounts for 2026, and for comparison, the bottom half shows 2025. We also have the split, if you wanted to know it, between the Board of Education, the retirement system, and the charter schools. And then importantly, we show the statutory requirements. Everything we've been talking about today is, well, the actuary comes in and tells you what we want to. If we were just to have it our way, and the law said that whatever we calculate every year is the actuarially determined contribution is what the employers have to pay. This year we'd say it's 14.5%. Last year there was a law change that helped us out, and now we have an increased fixed rate. We had a rate that was decreasing 0.5% per year until it was going to hit a bottom of 9%. But the law change was from here on out, the rate is going to be 14%. So we're going to get 14% from employers. If we had it our way this year, we'd get 14.5%. But the good news is I do think we're turning the corner, and we're going to see that 14.5% go. There's going to be some years where we anticipate that might be below 14%. So in the long run, it's a really good thing that shored up the plan to get the 14% fixed rate. If we were going to go down to 9%, it was going to pull down the funded status as it has been. So I think it's a great change, and it doesn't look perfect this year because we would have wanted a little bit more, but I think over the next 5 years, you're going to hopefully see that we're getting a little bit more than we wanted through the statutory rate, and that's a good thing. Any questions about the results? That was a ton of numbers.
Do you make any recommendation to us to reduce our expected rate of return?
Part of the experience study will be to look at that.
Okay.
We might come in and say 7% is a reasonable rate. That's one of those areas where the board we also might say that 6.5% is a reasonable rate. I don't think we'll say 7.5 is a reasonable rate, but I think you have a good rate. It doesn't mean that the board, we'll have to see. I mean, we look at the investment mix and we look at the future, what we're seeing for capital market assumptions. Your investment advisor may provide some capital market assumptions as well. We'll see how the 7% stacks up over the next 20 years. You don't want to look over the next year. You want to look over 15 or 20 years. And it depends on, how the board feels. Some boards want to push the envelope or be a little bit conservative, maybe lower the rate if it's on the, if they're not comfortable, they feel like it's maybe a little bit higher than we might expect, gives it a little bit of pad. And some boards may be comfortable with if 7% is actuary says is reasonable, that they might keep it. So it's definitely a discussion you'll want to think about as we approach the experience study. I think the current plan, subject to change, is to present that in December. So, I would encourage, if there's conversations to be had, that maybe ahead of that some thought is put into it. But my expectation is that 7% would be reasonable still, but it might be on the higher rate, higher than, and we can look what other, I don't know if some boards like to look what other systems are doing as well. We'll have that data. We'll have a lot of data points for you to consider. We can make a recommendation. Doesn't mean the board. It's one area where the board tends to say, because it's just a touchy subject, is where we think it should be a different rate. You're proposing something, but we think it should be different. Typically on the retirement rates and things, or mortality rates, they tend to go with the actuary 100% of the time.
Yeah, we've dropped it from 8% down to 7% over time.
Sure. And there's a period of time, and probably even now, we would probably say that the 8% is not reasonable, and then that's a problem. That becomes problematic because we have a lot of disclaimers in our report, and you don't want that. But we will definitely recommend reasonable rates, and we will be able to answer questions about the range of reasonableness as well. Okay. I guess one more slide here is just the range of funded ratio history. You can see the blue line. If we had just tracked on a market value, it's up and down. The 2022 market returns dropped us down to 62 or something. But the orange line, the AVA, kept us steady, the whole time. And for the first time, like I said, we've turned the corner. We actually have a market value ratio higher than the actuarial value since 2022. So we have something to look forward to in the future there. The last is just the risks. I mean, clearly the investment risk is something. If the plan doesn't achieve it, if you hold it at 7% and you end up getting 6.5% over the next 5 years, say, then that's it's a risk, going to cause the cost to go up. And so, but dropping the 6.5%, if you were to drop it, then your liabilities are going to go up because you're converting it to today's dollars, then you're discounting at only 6.5%. So you're going to have a higher liability at 6.5%, a higher funded amount that you're targeting. But you're more likely to beat the rate every year. So that's the trade-off on investment risk. Contribution risk is less of a risk than it was this time last year when we were here because of the statutory change I mentioned. And contribution risk is just, we're telling you to put in 14.5%, we're only getting 14. But if we were only getting 9, and we were telling you 14, now all those dollars that we're telling you to put in aren't going into the system, and that's a slippery slope. And the last one on the right, I would add is a risk as well, and we see this a lot across public retirement systems in the U.S. with teachers. In the last few years, pays have been going up higher than we expected. And so that adds to liabilities and causes some risk to the system, just because you're going to have to fund for them, even though they have a higher payroll coming in. It's just in the long term, it is a risk to the system that salaries will be higher than we assume. So we'll be looking at that in the experience study. And that was all of our prepared stuff. I know that was a lot, and I know we had a lot of new board members, so we wanted to take our time and make sure that it was understood. We appreciate that time.
Any questions, anybody? Concerns? Questions or concerns?
Thanks, Mike. So the experience study you guys will be doing later this year, that gets done every 5 years?
Yes, and we needed to finish this as the 5th year. We need to get that out of the way.
And that just informs recommendations for assumptions that.
Sure, yeah. Mortality, retirement, salary increases, and the investment return are the key ones, but other smaller ones will be looked at as well. We kick the tires on all the assumptions, make sure they're reasonable, and we make proposal, and the board will have to approve the changes. And that's very standard, a 5-year period.
And I can send out to all the trustees the last one that we had done in 2021, just to kind of set the table for what it's going to look like.
Okay. Is there like a data collection requirement from all the schools that feeds into the?
No, we've collected 5 years of data from each valuation, and that's what we use. Each year we come in and say, well, there was more retirements than expected, or more this year was salary higher. So we've collected that for 5 years. We didn't adjust the assumptions. We didn't react to that because we don't want to be reactionary every year. But every 5 years we gather that data and we make sure that we review it and do make changes, propose changes if it's been a trend that we think will continue. We're looking at the past, but we also kind of want to look at the future. And we might collect some data from the investment advisor over capital market assumptions based on that, but not hard census data. We won't have to go back to the system or the Board of Education, charter schools.
Great, thank you, Mike.
So I don't know, Matt, if you're sharing, I've gotta. Thank you.
Thank you.
We do have a motion. Number 2.
Number 2 is the one we're doing. Okay, does anyone want to read that valuation motion?
I move to accept the 2026 actuarial valuation report as presented by the actuary.
There's a second?
Vian second.
Okay, questions, comments, or concerns? Any questions, comments, or concerns? Questions, comments, or concerns? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote.
Christina Bennett,
Yes.
Candace Carter Oliver,
Yes.
Louis Cross.
Yes.
Kelly Dobell,
Yes.
Mary Donaldson,
Yes.
William Heisey,
Yes.
Shanice Johnson,
Yes.
Yvette Levy,
Yes.
Jennifer Orr,
Yes.
Albert Sanders,
Yes.
Andrew Vian,
Yes.
Doris Walker.
Yes.
We do have 12.
Have 12, pass it.
Well, thank you, Mike and Matt and Blake. Appreciate
Thank you all so much.
this and appreciate your help
Thank you very much.
throughout the
Y'all
year.
be down in Mapers?
Yes. I'll be at Mapers.
Okay, great. Great.
See you guys there.
Okay, we're moving on to report of committees of the board. We're going to start with Is that right, Sue? You ready for that one?
Yeah.
The Benefits Committee, is there a report?
Yes, we have a report. So are you going to share for me and we will skip over some of it, but because it's redundant, but we will do our best to make sure it's plain.
Okay.
There it is.
All right, so as you all know, our insurance consultants are taking a look to see if we can offer group voluntary retirement life insurance. And so there's been a exploratory RFP issued, and they will be evaluating what this looks like for the retiree paid life insurance. For context, basically, we currently offer medical, dental, and vision, and then limited other benefits, but no life insurance is currently offered. What we're looking at is a modest final expense coverage option for our retirees. Can we go to the next slide? From the legal standpoint, again, this is voluntary and it's retiree paid. We will only act as the system will only act as a facilitator. We will not use any of the funding from the system or employers to manage this. This will come directly from the retirees. It'll be term life, no cash value products with 100% again paid by the retiree. I didn't say that 3-4 times, but want to make that very, very clear. The coverage will be a $5,000 minimum and pretty much up to $100,000 maximum, but the typical policy will range from $25,000 to $50,000. And of course, if you get the max, you're going to have to go through a major underwriting process. Next slide, please. Again, this is a repeat, but just so that the system trustees understand that it is not a retirement benefit. We will have no endorsement language, and we can terminate this whenever we deem it necessary or cumbersome for the system. The communications that will go out will be educational. And again, it will have strong disclaimers that we're not responsible for the payment of these policies. And this is basically something that they can elect to participate in. And it'll be framed as a final expense policy or survivor support policy. Last slide is going to say the same thing, but we're going to do it. Just so that we understand the risk mitigations here. Again, there is no implications financially to the system. It's a term only design, so there is no real major risk in it, and it's a modest coverage. And the carrier will administer everything. We are just really the conduit to get the information out. So in August, the insurance consultants will bring back their findings and possible recommendations. And that really is the report. Again, informational purposes only, no action is needed at this time.
All right, thank you, Shanice, so much. Do you have any questions, trustees, comments or concerns?
Great report.
It is. It's fantastic. Well, everybody's been asking for it, so now they have a chance. Okay, thank you, Shanice. And who's your co-chair for that?
Emily.
Emily, and Emily is absent today, so.
And Mary Donaldson.
And Mary Donaldson. Yeah, all three of those trustees are on that particular committee. Okay, we'll move on to trustee business.
The only thing I would mention is I think Sue has recently sent some emails out about expense reporting. So trustees are going to summer and fall conferences to please use the latest and greatest expense report for expense reimbursements.
Okay. Thank you, Andy. Investments, Christina, Albert, and Kelly, you all have a report.
Remind me, Sue, if I do, because I'm doing payroll right now.
There's no motions tonight for the investment committee.
No motion.
No motions. Sue, did we receive an email correspondence from exponents? They said they sent one.
They have sent a few. We'll probably maybe do that at the investment committee meeting on Thursday night.
Perfect. Sounds good. No report then.
Okay. All right, then we'll move on to,
Back up. I
okay.
was, I was really shocked, Lewis, that usually, well, I don't know where my posse was. Bobby wasn't there. Sheila wasn't there. I was the only person at NASP.
With Sheila's,
I know. I'm saying, usually everybody said your retirement board usually brings a posse, and we didn't bring anything. I was only by myself at
yeah,
NASP this year.
yeah, we'll have to do better, Chris. We'll have to
So
do
they're
better.
changing the format a little bit, Sue. It may not be a 3-day conference like it has historically. They might do just regional 1 days. Because of the politics surrounding DEI, a lot of companies have stopped supporting. It's just, they believe it's just temporary until, something changes, hopefully in the near future. But it was a really good conference. It was probably one of the better ones I have attended in the past. So just want to let everybody know it was a really good conference.
Yeah, they've moved the date up a little earlier too. That may be part of it, because it was early June, right?
Well, yeah, it used to be early June, and then they moved it to the end of June. But you really conflict at the end of June with a lot of different organizations,
Yeah.
social organizations that have like 5-year set conferences. So they moved it back a little bit closer to earlier mid-June, second week, which I thought was great.
Okay.
I know it's hard for educators that are on the thing, especially since we have to work summer school. It's kind
Correct.
of hard for educators. Even though our investments in NASP is very important, it's just hard for us to take that hit when it's an hourly pay and not taking PD days or whatever. But
Yeah,
I've been once, and I think it's very important that we always have somebody representing, but you go at least one time to see what it's all about. Because
absolutely.
and I miss that I can't go. And the only reason is because of summer school, but I think it's important that you at least get to go see it at least once so you can see what's going on.
Yeah, and so I did, just so on the record, I know for everybody who has not been, I did meet with Fairview. I did meet with exponents. Had dinner with uh Mesereau. Eugene Duffy always has a nice dinner, and then mm, 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 Loop. I went to dinner with Loop. Um, they had an event Sunday night. So it was a really good conference. A lot of younger um, participants were able to hold some really important roles as being moderators. So it was nice to see younger generations getting involved. Um, so it was a really good conference overall. But we can talk more about the discussions at our investment meeting.
Okay.
One more thing. Um, if you go, make sure you go when Christina's still here because she knows a lot of people and she can get you hooked up with all the dinners or just introduce you to people who are part of our plan who help us. So she goes a lot. She goes on with 2 different hats on, but she knows a lot of people that we deal with, not personal. We deal with our plan. So I think that's important.
Okay.
Yes. Lazard was there as well, but I didn't meet with them. And there was some really good award banquets, but they did things a little bit different this year, and it was a twist on just size and funding. So it was a very good overall conference. Oh, and Sue, we still have Elm Tree, right?
Yeah, I mean, very, very
Very
small.
little. Well, yeah, we'll talk about it at the investment meeting, but I did meet their new owners as well. No other report from me. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments or concerns? Okay, we'll move on to legislative rules and regulations. June 2nd, 2026. Any report?
Is Dr. Levy still on?
I'm trying to,
Yes.
yes, she's still on. She's on mute. You all have you have a report?
Only report we have is what you received in your package. It's the changes that we're supposed to be doing for the rules and regulations.
Okay.
So I don't know, Dave and Christina, if there's anything formal we need to do to introduce these possible changes as we talked about at the meeting,
Yeah.
at the committee meeting.
Yeah, it just needs to be introduced, and I thought I was going to cover that in my session, but if you want to talk about it now, that would be great.
Okay, floor is open.
Do you want me to discuss, or is the trustee bringing it to you, or do you want me to?
That's the pleasure of the co-chair. So
yes.
You want Dave to handle it?
Yes,
okay.
I do.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I can share my screen then. 1 second. How do I share it? So we talked about this at the last committee meeting, legislative committee meeting. And so we have a few revisions that were discussed and brought to the trustees to discuss. The primary, there's three main changes. The first one is the change in the quorum rules. Let me share my screen there. Can you all see this?
Yes.
Okay, and this results from the change in the legislation where we've increased the number of trustees to 13. Previously, there were 6 members that were needed to approve a decision, and now that we have 13, it kind of didn't make sense to keep it at 6. And so we got legislation passed with the help of HB Strategies to get legislation passed to just clean up that language and discuss the number of members that must show up to a meeting and how many members need to approve an action. So the revision here would be that to constitute a quorum for any meeting, you'd need 7 members of the board to attend. If you don't have 7 meetings, then it's not a valid meeting. If you don't have 7 members, then it's not a valid meeting. And then any decision that requires approval will require the affirmative vote of 7 members. And so as we discussed at that meeting, if you had just 7 members show up to a meeting, you would need all 7 of them to approve any motion to carry forward. But obviously, if there are more than 7 members, you only need 7 to approve a motion. So that is the first change. Any questions on that one?
Any questions? Okay, go ahead, Dave.
All right. The next item to discuss is the change to the section referencing co-chairpersons. As we've seen, there can be multiple chairpersons for any sort of committee. And so we needed to just clean up the language here that says, instead of referencing one co-chairperson, that there could be multiple co-chairpersons. So that's kind of cleanup language. The last change relates to not a change in the rules and regs document itself, but a policy that is attached to the rules and regs document. And this was part of the legislation that was also passed recently. And basically the new legislation says that no contributions or expenditures of the system funds shall be made directly by the system to advocate, support, or oppose the passage or defeat of any ballot measure or the nomination or election of any candidate for public office So basically, this is saying this is now part of the policy, even though it probably was already part of your policy. We are now formalizing it, that no funds can be used to, support or go against any sort of political, individual who's running for office or any sort of legislation that is out there. And so this is now a specific law that was included in that legislation. And so we were updating this appendix A, which is, I think, under the ethics policy. Yep. Under the ethics policy, to clarify and confirm that no such funds can be used for those purposes. And so the purpose of this, the process is, that we talked about it at a committee meeting. The committee, somebody presented this to the Board of Trustees. And so now we have some ability to talk about it or ask questions or discuss these changes. Does anybody have any questions or want to discuss anything?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I can't think of the person who reports back to us from Jeff City. What is her title?
Lobbyist?
Lobbyist?
A lobbyist. Does contribute. Thank you. Do we pay the lobbyists?
You do.
Does that have anything to do with the ethics part about not playing for political favor or whatever?
It should not. No, because that's just a service that they're providing, that they're giving you information about what's being offered or they're going to the legislators to promote, or do things that you all decide to do.
Yes.
But that's different than, using your credit card or something like that to support a particular political candidate.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, time out, repeat that. I need you to repeat that. Ooh, I was not paying attention. Repeat that on the political.
This rule does not prohibit you from hiring a lobbyist to provide services that are related to legislative matters.
Okay.
It's,
Okay, so this is, I thought it was on individuals. I was like, what?
No.
Okay.
No, the rule is stating that you can't use system funds to promote a candidate or promote, or go against a candidate, or anything like that.
And right. And we don't endorse. We've
Yeah.
never endorsed anyone anyways.
Right.
We stay in our lane.
That's exactly right.
So to amend these rules, there are procedures that the trustee submits the proposed change for inclusion with the agenda materials for the next meeting of the board, which is today. And then the proposed amendment, repeal, or suspension will not be discussed or submitted for a vote until the next board meeting. And so what we've done before is we've held a separate board meeting to approve these changes, or we can wait until the next one. But effectively, the change for the quorum and the voting and stuff, we've been operating that way because that's, what the law says. And we expected the law to say that. So whether you want to call a special one, to approve these or wait until the next one, that's up to you all. I think the one thing that we discussed was, I think it still needs to technically get signed by the governor. And so perhaps we would wait to actually adopt this until the governor signs the legislation, which we expect to happen with no issues. So, that would be one reason why you would just maybe wait until the next board meeting.
Now, Dave, the governor has until July the 18th to sign this legislation. Is that correct?
I think that's right, Sue. Is that what Angie had mentioned to you?
Yeah, it's somewhere in that time frame.
15.
Yeah, I don't know exactly.
Mid-July.
Right.
Yeah. And so we talked about, I think, maybe waiting till August.
Right. But we're still going to use the quorum that's in place, or we're going to technically wait until it's signed?
No, we've been using the 7.
7, okay.
Yeah, because I mean that it would be kind of odd to say you could pass a motion with 6 votes when you have 13 trustees, right? That's not a majority. And so I think the whole, the intent is to have a majority, and we haven't had an issue, where there's only been 6 votes for yes. So I think we kind of need to, now that it is a law and we're simply waiting for a signature, I think that's how we are operating.
Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments or concerns for the Legislative Rules and Regulations Committee or for Dave? Questions or comments? Okay. Thank you so much, Dave.
Yep.
Thank you
Thanks,
all.
Dave.
Thank you, Doris. Thank you, Dr. Levy. Okay, we'll move on to personnel and professional contracts.
I just have a couple of things. Sue sent an email that had 3, it looks like, timelines for upcoming RFPs.
Yes.
Do you want to show any of those, or you can? I think in the email, basically, you're sharing that or recommending that we look at that actuarial RFP and perhaps go out for an audit on that and hire a firm to do it this year, is my understanding. And based on your notes and recommendation, I support that. You might want to add or provide some context for the group.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Oliver. So yeah, what I have up is just, to let everybody know, we do have RFP for the investment consulting, and then we have just the schedule. So there's gonna be a lot of activity, the investment consultant, and then we also have the insurance consultant is included in that packet as well. So we're gonna have those 2 RFPs. And then the third one was for the actuary, but it's my understanding, I wasn't able to find whether we had ever done this or not, but I do not believe there's ever been an audit of the actuarial study. And typically best practice would say that's done, maybe every 5 years. So this year, thought maybe this would be a good time as we look at the experience study to, get a firm hired. Funds were included in the budget for potentially doing this, but hire a firm, we do an RFP, and I can put that out real quick, but we would do an RFP for that firm to just basically do the audit of this valuation that you just saw. And then that way, we would sort of know, okay, how successful that audit was. And so this would just really be the time when we'd be getting going pretty quick on it, and try to, by the August meeting, have the information in so that we could make a decision to hire the firm, and then they would get going from there.
When's the last time we had an audit of the actuarial?
I
can't remember. Christina, is she on?
Yeah.
Christina, do you remember if we've ever had an audit in all the years we've been on?
We've done an audit of the actuary.
Yes.
The auditors have reviewed part of the actuary.
They reviewed
Or
it,
did they look at the experience study? We had one when we switched a long time ago.
All right, well, we're back on track now, so we're gonna do it per what that's stated in the rules and regs. So we'll
Yes.
we'll be on track now,
Stu,
right?
I'm sure you'll beat me, but I can go home tonight and look in my old files. But that would have been when we moved from Ruby's old firm. Jim Ruby's old firm.
Right. Okay. Well, even if we didn't, we are gonna be in the process of an RFP and whatever is required in order to be consistent with the rules and regs.
Sounds good.
All right, question for you. When is Gallagher's contract up?
So they have it's just an evergreen. So, we typically So we started with them in 22. Well, actually, this last renewal was in 22. They started back in 2011, I think.
Yeah.
So it's been a while. So every year,
Oh, you mean Gallagher, like the insurance people?
Not Gallagher. I'm the
it was Buck, but
actuary.
now
It was Buck,
but now
it's
they're
Gallagher.
Gallagher.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. When we went to Buck is when we did, I believe, when we moved to Buck is when we did the last one.
Yes.
Yeah, so they have every year, it just, there's a little COLA adjustment in there, but there's no set time where the contract ends.
Okay, thank
So
you.
if we did this audit, what I would suggest is that we push out the RFP for the actuary to the next year, to 2027. So we can use this as evaluation, a tool to evaluate the valuation. The other factor that's kind of playing in here is we do need the actuary right now for our pension administration system. We are getting into that part of the project, deliverable 3 and 4, where we really need their input. So we'd kind of like to see that all play out before we look at doing an RFP.
Okay.
For actuary.
Do we want to do a motion and vote on that?
I do have a motion whenever. Yeah.
I'm shocked. No. Okay, so we're gonna have a motion to do just what Sue suggested that we do. Are there any questions or comments or concerns about what we're talking about doing in terms of moving the audit of the actuarial process? Not audit, yeah, the actuarial audit RFP and also the actuarial audit to another time, is that right?
Yeah, so really what is changing here is just the RFP for the actuary wouldn't be this year.
It'd be in
We'd move it to
27.
next year.
Right.
But we would take this year as an opportunity to do, an audit of their valuation, which has not been done for many years.
All right. So Kelly, are you still on with us?
Yes.
Okay, did you want to read that?
Well, I have to get it up there.
Sue's gonna put that motion up.
Yep.
Okay. That would be number 2, right?
3.
Number 3, I'm sorry. Number 3, Kelly.
Okay, I make a motion to accept the changes to the RFP schedule as recommended by the executive director.
Is there a second?
Second, Candace.
Okay, any questions, comments, or concerns? Questions, comments, or concerns? Last time. Questions, comments, or concerns? Okay, we'll take a roll call vote on that.
I have a question. I'm sorry.
Yes. Okay, go
I'm
ahead.
trying to hit the unmute button. This is just the RPH schedule by adding the actuarial audit. That's the change.
There's,
Go ahead,
yeah, it's doing that, but then also moving the RFP for the actuary to next year from this year. That it was on the schedule for 26, but this would move it to 27.
Did you need an explanation of why we suggested to do that again?
You talking to me?
Yes.
No.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to know. I just wanted to know what part of the schedule was changing, and she answered. Thank you, Sue.
But basically, Sue, we're doing this because there are a lot of things that are happening right now, and so we're going to move it up to a later time so that we can use the actuarial information for some things that have to happen, right?
Yeah, and also give us a chance to do this audit of the valuation.
Exactly. Okay, so we're going to do the roll call.
Christina Bennett,
Yes.
Candace Carter Oliver,
Yes.
Lois Cross,
Yes.
Kelly Dobell,
Yes.
Mary Donaldson,
Yes.
William Heisey,
Yes.
Shanice Johnson,
Yes.
Yvette Levy,
Yes.
Jennifer Orr,
Yes.
Albert Sanders,
Yes.
Andrew Vian,
Yes.
Doris Walker.
Yes.
Okay, so we do have 12.
Okay, we have 12. Motion passes. Okay, Dr. Oliver, did you have anything else?
No, sir.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you so much. Okay, so new business, Sue?
I don't have anything.
All right, report of the attorney.
I don't have anything to offer.
Okay, Christina. No report from Christina.
No, I think we do have.
Dave, did you have anything?
We do, yes.
Okay, we need to go into closed session.
Yep.
Okay,
I make a motion to close the meeting and that all records and votes to the extent permitted by law pertaining to and or resulting from this closed meeting be closed under RSMO 610.021 1 for the purpose of having a confidential or privileged communication with the legal counsel for the PSRS STL on legal matters.
okay, is there a second?
I second it.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded. So we're at the point, do you have any questions or concerns or comments about this particular motion that has just passed? The motion is, okay, the motion is passed, so. Any questions or comments or concerns? Last time, questions, comments, or concerns? Okay, we're gonna do a roll call vote.
Christina Bennett,
Chris?
Yes, sorry, mute button.
Okay,
Candace Carter Oliver,
Yes.
Louis Cross.
yes.
Kelly DeBell,
Yes.
Mary Donaldson,
Yes.
William Heisey,
Yes.
Shanice Johnson,
Yes.
Yvette Levy,
Yes.
Jennifer Orr,
Yes.
Albert Sanders,
Yes.
Andrew Vian,
Yes.
Doris Walker.
Yes.
Okay, so again, we have 12.
Have 12, motion passes.
Okay, so I'll just stop sharing. And Christina?
That
Okay,
was fast, Louis.
Christina, is it you or Dave?
It is, I'm sharing my screen.
Okay,
Yes, it should be.
Okay. Let me do a couple things here.
yes.
Took a while to show up. Sorry about that.
So far,
So far, so
Susan.
good. So far, so good.
Susan,
Yes.
you know the superintendent and my daughters at Blewett, right?
Yes. That's good.
Yeah, she said it looks claustrophobic. They're in the nurse's office.
Yeah, I heard. It's kind of nightmare.
Wow.
But it's better than
Legionnaires.
Legionnaire disease. So. Somebody didn't put the chemicals in the water, I guess.
Dr. Carter, Candace Carter Oliver.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations on your nominee, a nomination on that, whatever it was on Friday or Sunday.
What did I do on Sunday? I'm not.
When you nominated for something or a nominee?
No, I don't think so.
Man, you didn't listen. You didn't watch. You probably didn't even go.
You late, Albert. It was a couple of months ago.
Oh, okay. Maybe that was it. I just saw it on Facebook.
All right.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
We're live, and is there a motion to adjourn?
No, Louis, I just had one last question.
Go ahead, Chris.
Did we do anything or recognition for our former trustee, Joe Clark?
We did. We handled it through the office, but as far as anything, we didn't, but we will at the next.
We put a comment out on the page.
On the page, a comment was
funeral home.
On the page.
It's in the newsletter also.
Did you all have some suggestions about something else that you wanted to do?
No, I just wanted to find out. I was out of town, so I apologize.
Yeah, no, Sue handled that, and his daughter, who's an older woman, called me and wanted to know all the particulars about his time with us, and I shared that with her. And he's going to have a memorial service
I think it's Saturday.
It's Saturday, and so I guess they will share that additional information at that time.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay. Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, you all have a fantastic weekend. And don't forget, Wednesday's supposed to be another possible severe storm, so everybody be aware of that coming up this coming Wednesday. Be
Okay,
safe.
I forgot. Thursday, I will not be at the meeting. I'm going home.
Okay.
I'm going home.
Going home, and where's home now?
Milwaukee.
Okay. All right.
And I notified Sue already that I'll be traveling as well.
I'm so sorry that Milwaukee's home. But I like to see what I do like to see is Andrew's in the office, and Lewis has been in office. I think eventually, I know it's so hard for people.
Yeah, well, we're gonna
eventually maybe we can have, if you are able to, more people. It don't have to be every meeting, because I do like Zoom is a lot easier when it comes to everything else going on.
And
But
that's why we have that, because we know that everybody has a busy schedule. But if we could get, if you're welcome to come, I'll be here. So you're welcome to come. If
yeah, it'd just be nice to have more people, and I would just to meet some people in person too.
Yes, yes. Okay, you all have a good evening, and thank you all so much for your time, and see you all next time.
All righty, see you later.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.